Rye, and he's going to be talking with us today about two important topics.
Thank you, Sharon. I appreciate the very important presenter. I've never been a VIP before, so I'm feeling pretty special up here. I'm Charlie Wood. I'm from Gregory & Appel Insurance. We provide your property and casualty insurance here at Van Roy Properties, all the properties across the country that we have, as well as our restoration company. And I have an interest in everything that we do, including sexual harassment, as well as accident investigation. So it won't be too long, just 45 minutes, an hour, maybe an hour and a half, depending on your questions. And then after I'm done, if you have some questions on each topic, go ahead and raise your hand. I'd like it to be fluid and we can go through. If for some reason you can't hear me, or if you have any thing other to say than a question, then just go ahead and shout it out. We'll go ahead and get started on harassment and harassment avoidance. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of the facts that start from here. What is sexual harassment? I think we all know what it is. We've heard about it. We've probably had it happen to us. We've probably even done it before a little bit. And that probably happened in high school, maybe even at work. We're going to stop doing that because I'm going to identify what those things are. They're unwelcome sexual advances. I'm not going to list to you unwelcome sexual advances. I'm just going to know that unwelcome sexual advances, requests for sexual favors, or verbal or physical conduct of a sexual nature is sexual harassment. Now, I guess none of us would ever met our spouses or our girlfriends or our boyfriends or whatever if we didn't do some type of unwelcome sexual advance or, a request for a favor of some sort. But in the office place, it's not acceptable. People are like, how can that be? It's just not acceptable, but 40% of marriages are done in the office place. So sexual harassment has to be occurring all the time. And that is a true statement, it is. But the question is, are the feelings mutual? What happens if they don't become mutual? Well, as we go further into what is sexual harassment, submission is explicitly or implicitly a term of a condition of employment. That would mean a supervisor or somebody in a management position is saying, hey, look, if you don't do this for me, then you may not be able to work here anymore. That's sexual harassment. Well, it could be somebody on the bottom saying, hey, look, I'm going to tell on you for doing this, manager, because unless, maybe you do something for me. So it can be vice versa. Submission rejection is used for a basis of employment decisions. Those employment decisions can also be, hey, an employee says, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to tell on you, manager, if you don't do this for me. Or the manager, vice versa, comes back and says, hey, if you don't give me this, I won't give you that. Do these things happen in the employment workplace? Absolutely. Happens all the time. Then we'll look at that. The conduct has the purpose and effect of unreasonable interference with work performance, creating an intimidating, hostile, or offensive work environment. The conduct is unwelcome when an employee did not solicit or invite. So how do these workplace marriages and relationships happen if there isn't some of these interactions going back and forth? Managers dating employees, employees dating employees, etc. Well, it is because it only happens when the conduct is unwelcome. That happens to be more than when I'm married now than when I was single. That's for some reason it worked out. But why should people be concerned? Well, there's a lot of court cases out there that are telling you what's going on. Illinois, a $3 million settlement to a female employee. Sam's Club hit with a $2 million one. Ford Motor Company for $7.5 million. Mitsubishi, $8.9 million. A South Arkansas jury awarded $13.9 million. I have to change that on there. For a racial harassment suit, we have all kinds of harassment that are going out there. We have all kinds of issues that we can avoid. People are like, well, that doesn't matter to me. If they did it to me, then they deserve to pay. All of these situations were executive-based situations. Employees being mistreated. But what does it have to you? Why do you have to be concerned? Median jury verdict on $108 grand. That's not a big deal. I know why it's a big deal to Van Roy, why it's a big deal to the insurance companies. We lose decreased productivity. There's a potential for violence. The fact is, and what you guys really need to be concerned about is what I've underlined right there. is that you can be sued personally. Not just management. Those big settlements I put up there, those are just management. But you can be sued personally. I said, well, how can that be? Well, sexual harassment is an intentional act. It's uninsurable, so your homeowner's insurance is not going to cover it. Certainly Van Roy's insurance isn't going to cover you. And so you're going to be on your own if you're named in a lawsuit of some sort. Supervisors and employees may be personally sued for engaging in sexual harassment and or other types of harassment, as well as failing to stop it. That means if you're in a management position and you see it happening and you fail to stop it, you can be personally sued, even though you weren't in the act. You just let it go by. You can also be sued for assault, battery, negligence, outrage, invasion of privacy, and all those things are intentional acts other than negligence. But if you're negligent, you turn a blind eye and say, I kind of heard it, I just didn't know. I just didn't want to do it. You're part of it now. And again, as an insurance man, I'd love to tell you if there was coverage for that, something you can purchase for it. The fact is that you can't. Does anybody know what the average rate for a defense attorney is right now, either criminal or civil, per hour? They're doing better than I am, let's put it that way. A little bit better. $4.25 an hour for a partner. $2.25 for an associate, $1.75 an hour for a paralegal. Okay? Now, my average case that I take usually consumes about 125 hours. So if you can do the math on that, I bet we just don't have that sitting around in our bank accounts or on our credit card bills. I bet you don't. And that's why, we have insurance to pay for other things, other types of litigation, that helps that. But this is something that's uninsurable. And it's something you won't be able to pay. And when that verdict comes down, these verdicts aren't removed by bankruptcy. No, they get a tag around thinking. And this is kind of a new development over the last few years. People have seen these personal suits that have all kinds of information in them. And I say, why should we be concerned even more? Everything that you do on this little device, all your text messages, anything like that, email related, all of your stuff, anything that can be personal outside of the office with another employee that could be here, that's all discoverable. I'll get that in the first thing I request in a litigation matter. Be like, oh, I need all your phone records for the last 5 years. Now, raise your hand if you have something on your phone you don't want somebody else to see. I don't care what kind of, if it's a picture, I don't want to know about it. I've said some bad things. I've said some things to my wife I know are probably unwelcome and I'm going to get in trouble for it, But the fact is all of that will become public. It'll all become public. And so, is that a reason to be concerned? Yeah. It certainly is. So we should lead by example. You guys have a harassment policy. Read it, know it, support it. I think number 4 is the most important thing. And I say duh because it seems real simple. Is be professional amongst each other. Then you may have things that go on outside of work. I understand that. But be professional amongst each other. I mean, harassment can be even construed to be foul language. It could be, not just sexual harassment. It could be racial. It could be gender-based, meaning chauvinistic and misogynistic. Harassment is all kinds of different things. But if we're professional with each other, those things don't come up. They don't come up. You got to know what the red flags are, and you got to know what the red flags are with the people that you work with. If there is a complaint, then you need to take the complaint seriously. It is to be investigated. Listen, sympathize, don't judge. If you don't listen, and you don't sympathize, and you do judge, you're going to be sitting in front of a judge, likely. And you're going to be in a funny spot. And this doesn't just apply to management. This applies to anybody. Somebody comes to you and says, this person's been doing this. I need you to, I don't know what to do. Well, you tell them to go to management. I'll go with you. Don't delay. Respond to those concerns. These things are important, especially with workplace violence nowadays. Who knows how it's going to turn out down the road? Could be somebody freaks out, a scorned lover. I don't know. It happens a lot. Follow up on this complaint and avoid using our dangerous words. What are these dangerous words? Oh, I'm just teasing you, honey. It's no big deal. Anybody ever said that? Felt like, hey, I'm just teasing. I just had a joke. I know, a lot of funny jokes are crass. Probably the ones I laugh at the most. I mean, it's true. We all laugh at some of that stuff. Some people feel it's more funny than others. Some people are uncomfortable about it. Some people don't want to hear about it at all. If you see a lady who's walking by and you say, man, that's a nice dress, and she takes exception to it, don't say it's your fault the dress is that way. Boys. It's not her fault for dressing that way. She wants to feel good that day. And we need to pay attention to what our job is and not what other people are wearing or doing. You need to learn how to handle these situations. Now, we don't say that either. These sentences are things that we don't get into with our management. Management doesn't get back into it with employees. And you can say just ignore it, but usually it won't go away. Defending other people. He puts his arms around everywhere. He's an old kid. What can't you learn to accept a compliment? Those are really nice legs you've got there, honey. I mean, I didn't mean anything. We worked together. But I mean, she looks good in the heels and the short skirt. That may make her feel uncomfortable. What happens if she's married? She has a boyfriend. What happens if she has a girlfriend? Then she might even feel really threatened. I mean, the fact is that it's not professional to answer any of these things. It's just a joke. And no one's filed a charge, so it doesn't come up before. Where he's from, that's just what they do. All of these things are dangerous words, dangerous phrases that we get into when we're ignoring a complaint. So how do we protect ourselves? Well, keep your hands to yourself. We've been saying that since kindergarten. I'm going to say it again, keep your hands to yourself. Don't talk about sex on the job, not even with people outside of the office. You can't be talking about some lady outside of the office that you knew about, or some guy that you knew about and come into the office and tell you all about your encounter last night. And that may be really neat, and it might be a great story. Really brownie. But you can't bring it up. So we shouldn't be mixing the discussion of our social life with job-related discussions, particularly if you're discussing a possible promotion or demotion. It's like, boy, you hooked up last night, you showed up late, and guess what? You might get demoted tomorrow. You might. Keep compliments casual and fairly impersonal. You look very nice today. You're welcome, John. And he does look nice. Nice boots. Combed his hair this morning. Good for done. Avoid jokes, words, phrases, and gestures with sexual meanings. Don't assume that a friendly man will be willing to go to bed with you. Assume that people are just friendly. If you're in Broad Ripple at the Man Shaft or Man Sharks or whatever those bars are, you can assume that people are friendly and may want to go to bed with you. But at the office at Dan Roy, do not assume that. Now, if you're a male and female, that might be true. You could probably make that assumption. But it's not acceptable to address that in any way, shape, or form in the office place. Also, respect the person's personal space. Coming up and behind him, and, hey, I know you've had a tough day, and start rubbing their shoulders or smelling their hair. I get it. These things happen. I will tell you that they happen in my office place. And beforehand, my boss would years and years ago, it used to be nothing to have a couple cocktails at lunch, come back and say, hey, Ted said I had any calls. It was not uncommon. This is not how society works today. We don't work that way anymore. We got to respect the person's personal space. When we get to respond to the complaints, once we're aware, management's going to address that situation. And they're going to take every complaint, they're going to take it seriously. Don't insist we put the whole situation in writing. And that's for management and that's for you. Remember, anything that I have, and you have, Van Roy, you personally, anybody involved in a harassment suit, whether it be sexual, racial, gender, age, disability, anything that you have, I will obtain in a court of law. I might obtain some of your girlfriend's messages on her phone too, just for kids. So keep that in mind. When we have these situations, we're responding to them, go right to human resources. Our friend Tony over there, go to Sharon, go to management, make sure we get seen by the right person. So let's cover this again. And all the laughs and humor and all that kind of thing. It won't be funny if it happens to you. It might be funny if your friends will make fun of you. But you're going to go broke doing it. This is females and males. So the females, you're not excused from this. Not that you felt that you were, but I didn't want to discriminate here. I want to make sure that we're all on equal footing. Harassment is unwanted behavior that creates a hostile work environment. We know about it, and we've seen it happen. We need to respond. Our response varies. We have a policy that dictates how that response is carried out. Keep human resources in the loop. Document. Protect yourself, protect the other party, protect the organization. That said, I'm going to switch from... Any questions about harassment? Please.
Did I misunderstand you when you said don't insist they put it in writing?
Well, you can't force the person who's making the complaint to do so. But you as a manager, you as an employee, your documentation is helpful for your own defense. But if you insist that they do it and they refuse, you can't just say, well, you're terminated because you haven't followed it. You can't do that. So that's it. Does that help with clarification?
Yeah.
Other questions? I mean, if you guys, I could give you some unwelcome sexual advances and see what those, if you guys want to cover some of those, but I think you know exactly what they are. Please.
Earlier on one of the slides, you had the word outrage.
Well, people take a situation and you know, you say, a better way to put it is creating a kind of a riot or a mob about it. It's going from your friends saying, hey, look, I'm just outraged, and don't you feel the same thing? And bringing other people into a mix that really had nothing to do with it. Understood? Thanks for the question. Other questions? Okay, well, I appreciate your time on that. Everybody knows what they need to do in regards to sexual harassment, avoiding it, any type of harassment. Let's just be professional throughout that. I'm going to move on to accident investigation. And what we're looking at here is a picture of somebody who's taken a fall down the stairs. I've almost done that there at the Van Roy office, going upstairs a couple times. Let's say, oh, oops, I hope he's okay. So anybody takes a look at this picture, can they tell me why that person fell? Anybody? Just take a guess.
Who's texting?
You could have been. Somebody pointed out he's got his laptop like that. And there's papers over here. Could have been drinking. You're right. Could have been. There could have been water on the steps, right? I can't tell. Maybe his shoes aren't tied. I have no idea why this guy fell. But the point of accident investigation is to find out. And I'm going to cover some of that with you. I want you guys to understand accident investigation is not only purposeful for our internal injuries so we can prevent that from happening to other people in our organization, but also I want to do it for a third-party position of how we protect Van Roy from third parties who claim that they've been injured on our premises. What is the purpose of it? Eliminate injuries, accidents from the workplace by determining root causes, avoiding similar mistakes in the future. What is the accident investigation? Well, it's a systematic process for identifying the underlying causes of accidents. We looked at several of them on the picture of the guy who fell down the stairs. We're going to determine why the accident occurred, but we aren't going to assign blame yet. We just want to find out the facts. So what is a supervisor's responsibility here at Van Roy when it comes to accident investigation? Well, there are no safety policies. You guys are going to train your employees before they start to work, and we're going to consistently enforce safety rules. We haven't been doing that, and I got to be honest with you, we haven't been doing that very well. The reason why I say that is our workers' compensation losses have continued to rise, but not in accordance to the growth of the company, but just in terms of frequency in general. Workers' compensation is the only line of coverage that you guys can control the premium. The less claims, the less the amount of insurance. And that's it. It's got a factor. It's called an experience modification factor. And if you're at 1.0, you're at par. If you're below 1.0, you're below par. You're putting a birdie there. If you're above, you're going bogey, double bogey. And guess what? We're somewhere around the triple bogey range if we don't hit this long putt. And so we need to reduce our accidents. And how can we do that? Again, it's by these accident investigation, knowing our safety policies, and consistently enforcing safety rules. We're going to investigate every accident and every incident. I don't care if they need medical treatment or not. If it's a near miss, I want to know about it. If you're a supervisor, I want you talking safety, I want you thinking safety, and I want you to be a role model. We're going to report all incidents ASAP. The safety committee is looking at these things. They're running these things by me. We're determining ways to help you guys be safe. If you have issues with safety, you need to let us know. Notify management ASAP of safety issues and of incidents. You have a responsibility as an employee to know the safety policies. Say, hey, this is a job I haven't been trained to do. Can you teach me how to do it before I go forward? You've got to abide by the safety rules. If there has been a safety rule, and you've been trained on that safety rule, and you violate it willingly, we will deny your workers' compensation claim. It will happen. I will do my darndest to do that. People say, oh, you can't do that. You know what? I had a guy who fell 14 stories onto some rebar. He only had 6 of the rebars going through him. Only had 6. He lived. He didn't even really have brain damage. Lost an eye. Had some trouble walking. Looks pretty good besides the 6 holes in him. Actually has 12, one on each side. This guy, he didn't like wearing a harness because it restricted him from his job. He just couldn't do his job right. And now he can't do the job. And he said that. He said it to his boss over and over. His boss was like, you have to wear this. You have to wear this. His boss leaves, he falls. Didn't have it on him. I know he didn't have it on him because I got to show up before they cut all the rebar off. They had to put him in on the side with all the rebar coming out. He had no harness on him. They wouldn't have been able to take it off. They would have had to cut it off. He told us he didn't want to use one. Guess what? He got it. Zilch. His wife's health insurance took care of it. He got nothing. He willfully violated the rules. And we aren't climbing up 14-story buildings most of the time, but if we have a safety concern and you're violating it, we have a safety policy or a rule, and you violate it, they will deny that claim and we will investigate it. So consistently abide by the rules. Report the accidents and the near misses. Accidents happen, near misses happen. How do we avoid them? We want to investigate how it happened. Create a workaround so it doesn't happen again. Cooperate with any investigation that you have. So, list the steps you would want to use to investigate the accident. Identify the causes and develop a plan for corrective action. So, here I have another picture. What are the issues here? These guys didn't take it long. It's kind of hard to see. What is this guy with the one arm going to do? It's only going to flip the ladder over. Then the ladder's going to fall on top of the guy when he hits the ground. This is a real picture. You guys notice there's something below there. I have an arrow.
It ain't going nowhere.
I have an arrow at the bottom. It's pointing to something again. It's hard to see. Can you see what that is? It's a big aluminum ladder.
Tabby.
You know what I would hire. So, we have issues here. The guys, no feet on the ladder, there's a ladder down here. This guy's trying to hold them. They're trying to be safe. They're trying to do a project they can't do. They don't have the right tools. If this guy falls, I'm going to have a funny, laughing time, as long as he's not hurt really badly, about how this occurred. It's kind of funny, but you know, I can go around and take pictures all the time to find out these things. So when you guys go out to investigate your accidents, you don't have an investigation kit, but you don't need one. I'm giving you one as I speak, as long as you can remember. You got to take control of the scene. You got to get prompt medical attention for anybody who sustains any injury. We'll secure an area. We need to gather some evidence, create a sketch. We should. Take photos. Who doesn't have a phone that doesn't take pictures? Everybody's pretty much has a phone and takes pictures now. Everybody carries a camera. Take some photos if we can. If there's witnesses, we need to do that. We need to interview those witnesses. Leave some open-ended questions. Think about it if you're a detective trying to find out the root cause of how this occurred. This is, again, for employees, but this is also for third parties that are out there. Is anybody that's a property manager, raise your hand if you've had a slip and fall on your premises and somebody said it was Van Roy's fault? We only have one? Well, they come across my desk, guys. I know that there's more than that. Every single one of them. I'm going to start calling out people like Blake and Blaine will tell me, he raised his hand, he's on the safety committee or was there for a while, so he knows. People are slipping and falling all the time and accusing Van Roy of not doing their job. But I bet these maintenance guys will tell me that we're out there salting and moving snow the best we possibly can. Is that correct? That's right. And guess what? These guys keep logs. Do you not keep those logs? You know why we keep those? So I can defend it. I can defend those lawsuits that come through. And we do have them. We have multiple of them going on at any one time. If we can get this information, is the applicable information up there to the adjuster, we can defend you. If we can identify the root cause, we can prevent it from happening in the future. So I asked, find out why. I'm going to tell a little bit of story. Not tell my wife I told you this story. Jason would have told her. I'm going to tell you. She came in one day to work. She works at the same office as me. And it was icy and snowy. And she slipped and fell. And she came in and she was cursing, which was like a form of harassment in my mind because I could tell she was really upset. I was trying to avoid it and stay away and be professional, but she was angry. And she had tore her hose and she had hurt her hip and she had scuffed her shoe and she was just mad. I said, what? What happened? She says, I fell. Can't you tell? I said, yeah, I can. I just want to know how you fell. I fell in the parking lot because it's icy and we shouldn't have had to go to work today. I said, well, okay. Can I ask you a question? What shoes are you wearing? I'm wearing my heels because I have a meeting. It's like, oh, so you're wearing heels on the icy parking lot. She didn't respond. And I said, well, honey, why didn't you just wear your gym shoes that are in your gym bag here when you work out later? Well, because I'm one of those guys for the meeting. I was like, can't you walk in and then change your shoes? I suppose I could. But you know what? I was in a hurry and I didn't have time to think about that. And I was like, why is that? She says, you know why. And we had gone out the night before, probably had one too many beers, I don't know. And she got to bed a little bit late. She got up a little bit late, and I could tell because her hair was kind of frizzy. It didn't look so hot. I didn't tell her that. I didn't tell her that. I said, honey, this all happened because you were running behind. She said, how do you know it? I said, well, think about this. Last night we go out and have a bunch of drinks. You come home. We don't have dinner, you wake up late because you're a little bit hungover, you know you've got a meeting, you hurry and get ready, you put your gym bag together because you want to work out, you forget that it's snowy outside, you come running into the office in high heels and you slip and fell. Now, she didn't like the accident investigation day and how I did. We got over it later in the day, but I'll tell you, what was the real cause of the accident? Bingo. Bingo. It all started with something unrelated to the parking lot. Unrelated to it. It's being in a hurry. It's not being on your game. It's not being alert. It's not thinking ahead of time. And these are the things that I'm asking you to do. We can't control what the residents are doing, but I can ask you and Van Roy to do that. By the way, she wears her gym shoes. In and out, going forward. We made a corrective action. Mostly because I told her I'm not buying her new clothes and shoes if she falls down. Not happening. Now, don't tell her I told you that story, but the fact is it's true. And it's happened more than once. When we go through these, you can think about it. I can think about issues in the office place, from broken handmaids to tripping over cords to all these types of things. Nothing is too small. I have a $300,000 claim of tripping over a cord because the person busted their face up on the end of the desk. That all they did was type for a living. So it applies to everybody, even in the office. You want to find out the root cause, we know what that was with my wife's story. So I have a few questions for you before we wrap up. Do we currently investigate every accident that we have? And let's start with our tenants or guests on our premises. Do we investigate those property managers? We ask all kinds of questions. Is that true? And we have a liability incident form that we do fill out, which I use and try to include that. So you guys, do we have a formal accident investigation policy? Do we? I don't know. I don't know. That's something you guys should investigate and report back to me. If Herb's here, I'll have him report back to me at that safety committee meeting. Do you guys look at your near misses? Do you say, hey, man, that was a close call? We take a look at it and say, hey, share it with your management. Man, I almost backed into this tree over here. I just wanted you to know we didn't do it. It's okay to admit it. Make a joke out of it, but think about ways we can come up with correction actions. Are all accidents reviewed with employees and supervisors? Are you looking at every accident thoroughly? I don't know. I think we do a pretty decent job on our liability. I think our property managers do a pretty decent job of finding out the information. What you do internally, I'd like to know more. I'd like to see more questions asked. We're here to help. Your safety committee is here to help you as well. In conclusion, for both of these, think about what you say and do. Harassment can cost you, not just the organization. Be aware of safety issues around you and all of your coworkers. Somebody else gets hurt, it costs you time and money too. Develop corrective action so you don't have that. If you want help with that, we'll help you with that. Discuss safety issues with management, distribute all corrective action to all employees so everybody is aware of what's going on. Safety for your tenants, safety for you internally is a thought process. It's a culture. It's not being in a hurry. It's thinking about what we're doing. It's protecting ourselves. It's protecting our residents. And anybody who's safer is obviously better off. I really appreciate your time. Thank you and have a good day.